Welcome to the Startup Grind.
Thank you all for coming. I can see a lot of familiar faces, so I'll quickly brief you about Startup Grind, then go on to more important things about Arun and then take it from there. So Startup Grind essentially is a US-based organization. We are now across 75 countries in the world. We are in the, we want to foster entrepreneurship. So we get big name entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs, starting up entrepreneurs coming and talking to us about their stories, their journeys, sharing their experience with us, motivating us, inspiring us to take things forward. Right? So Mr. Arun, I'm sure a lot of you might know, at least definitely all of you will know his beginnings. He is the founder and promoter of Casa Grande, and he is a symbiosis MBA, post which he was working with Wipro for a while. And what you might not know is actually a serial entrepreneur. He's been in business with several other ventures before starting Casa Grande in I think 2004. And he has successfully grown it in less than a decade to over 250 crores. And he is now, I think, one of the leading developers in the country. Apart from which, he pursues other activities, like now he's become an angel investor. He's also been awarded an award by the Indian Economic Council recently. So we're very happy to have him on board, share his experience with us. Thank you for coming on board. So the format is very simple.
Okay.
So I will just start asking you some questions.
Sure.
You can then take it from there.
Absolutely.
So if you could just start off with a little bit about your background, and from there we can take it.
Sure. See, before we step ahead on this, good evening everybody, just want to wish you all. So he's given a brief just about me. Having said that, I just want to understand, you did give me a brief on that, but let me just bring that back to my thoughts. The forum is for people who are privately interested in becoming entrepreneurs, who might venture or who might be evaluating entrepreneurship, etc. Is that broadly what it is? Because I want to understand what kind of a thought
so
we
some
can
people here are looking at becoming entrepreneurs.
Okay.
Some people are already in business,
Alright.
But not at the stage which you are in. So they're looking at scaling up.
Sure.
So they're looking for inspiration, looking for guidance on what are the pain points that you faced, how to go about it, and how to get over all these pain points. Because obviously every company from starting up has a lot of issues.
Sure.
So how do you scale up? What happens? That kind of thing.
Alright, okay. So he's just mentioned the nicer things about me and my journey. So let me possibly start off from where things started. See, before all this, recently the good things which he has to say about me, let me tell you that there are a lot of ventures which have fallen flat. And what is very interesting is the kind of learnings which we had in those ventures, which is what makes, I would say, my journey possibly a lot more a learning experience for myself and for everybody who I could narrate the story ever. As in, we have done very kind of businesses, as in, we wanted to be entrepreneurs. God willing, there was somebody who said, I'll give you some money to, maybe, try and venture out. So what we did was, we did a lot of things. We thought, we ventured into, let me throw a few of the ventures which I started, which went decently but didn't really could take off in a big way. Let's say we had a floral chain. We want to have a floral store. What we thought at that point in time was internet would scale up and we would slowly become an online store and grow big. What happened was, though the venture, the floral retail was the thing. It's just about networking and sending flowers to your kid, the simple floral business which still exists today. But what we didn't realize is we immediately did some decent business. We started seeing positives. What happened was, we couldn't gain scalability which we wanted. Getting into multiple retail formats or online formats was not that stronger a kind of venture at that point in time, and it was a little ahead of time. So somewhere when we realized we were hitting a glass ceiling, business doing well, very good. We're doing 3-4 lakhs, 5 lakhs of business sales value every month. We're doing 1.5 lakh. Is that going to ever excite us? Absolutely no, because that's not what we all start business for. Obviously, we want at the end of the day, say, fine, we want to aspire for something bigger. We want to buy our own bungalow. We want to buy possibly a luxury sedan. So these are all the aspirations which we start businesses. So that was not happening. So we dropped that. I would say possibly, though it didn't fail, we didn't understand that scalability will become an issue in certain businesses. Actually, we were not aware of that. The other thing was, actually, we were the first actually in Chennai and to brand fruits. See, let's say the fruits, mango you have, and the Alfonsos, etc. We thought possibly we will buy source on mangoes from Ratnagiri. We went to Ratnagiri, found out vendors, actually who we can source the mangoes from. Actually, we brought it. We said we'll brand the fruits because there's no credentials to buying fruits. What happens in fruit buying? Typically, you go stand in front of fruit vendor, you haggle a price, you don't know what price he's selling, etc. So the man is very uncomfortable buying fruits. So it will always be the lady who go buy, even she is not sure. But nobody gives a standard quality at a standard price. We thought it's a great idea and we should do it, and that would possibly scale up very big because people want that hassle-free buying of fruits, which is a very important part of every month's purchase. Today, a fruit buy in a normal middle-income family could go up to 2,000 to 3,000 rupees per month. That's the kind of value. So we thought possibly that would be, and this does exist abroad. Okay, this does exist in the developed economies. The brand like Sunkist and so on and so forth, where the agriculture produce is branded and sold in packs. But however, we realized again there's a problem. Obviously, the minute they saw these packs, they thought I'm going to pay for this pack also. Though we were offering it more or less a very similar pricing. The customer's mindset was actually, it is not difficult to buy a branded product produced at the point. So what we realized was this idea was ahead of time. So tripping on all these kind of ventures is where we started something else which we obviously got onto and which became successful. Which is what he mentioned about, which is we wanted in the space, okay, and let's say why Casa Grande happened and why real estate development, first we got into. I was in IT space, has nothing to do with that. My other partner actually was in the financial sector, had nothing to do with real estate. We had no experience whatsoever on that. The only thought it stemmed from a genuine customer pain point. At the point my cousin was trying to buy a house for himself actually. When we started looking for properties, we walked into more than 4 to 5 builders, 7, 8 builders, etc. Every property we had some issues. When we say we're ready to give you advance, can you give me the documents for us to think? No, we won't do documents. Why you won't do documents? You're buying the property, you want to pay you money, so why you want to? There's no transparency, first and foremost. Second is actually a builder, actually around about 10 to 12 years, 15 years, 13 years back when we started, or 10 years back. They were all not very professional as a setup. I would call them, call up. See, we would have to make 3-4 calls for them to return a call back. So, which means actually they were not professional setup because they had the bit of arrogance because things were selling a lot more easier. But even if that exists, it should not be the case. Even if we are in a position to possibly sell faster, no vendor or no businessman should ever get arrogant about his own products and services. So that is something we had as a problem. Third most important thing was actually, whenever the sales guy would quote a price, you go to salesman and he'll quote another price. Everybody is inconsistent. So the whole setup looked very unprofessional. And that is where we thought, so why don't we do real estate development? When we asked ourselves, do we have any experience? Nothing whatsoever. We don't know anything about construction. I don't know what is cement. I don't know what is sand. I did electronics engineering. My partner did BCom and then went out to MBA. So what would we have? We have nothing to do with all these things. So we learned the space actually. But we realized actually what is important is to see whether we can attack the pain point of the customer. So that is what we came from. So when we started focusing on that to say we will be very professional, we would be very transparent in our approach, we would show a very different phase of how a real estate customer can be handled was one of the primary triggers. From then on, no doubt, we had to do the other different things in terms of innovative products, better quality, timeline of constructions, etc. which are all, obviously we understood their pain points, but we attacked the other pain points one by one. And we slowly, I would say, reached a point where we think we have, started satisfying 60 to 70% of customers' expectations. I would never say 100%, but in no business, actually, you can more or less manage 100%. But yes, you can get up to 85-90% and we are still yet to get there. Having said that, customers saw some differences, they saw a professional approach, they saw some bit of honesty in the way we went about doing the business. So that is what possibly I would say has brought us to this, where we are today.
But quick question, going back a little bit. What got you to start into the entrepreneurship line itself? Because you had a cushy job at Wipro. Why would you want to quit that to go on to this?
Okay. See, entrepreneurship was actually, I would honestly say that entrepreneurship was in my inner calling for a long time. So that is one aspect of it. Let's park that aside because it doesn't mean everybody need to have an inner calling to be an entrepreneur at all. Today the game has changed. The economy is evolved where today you don't have to. The difficulty of being an entrepreneur is slowly coming. We are already coming out of it. So it's a lot more conducive for entrepreneurship at this moment. But having said that, your question was actually what made me Simple. Let's say at the end of the day, why does somebody want to have entrepreneurship? What do you enjoy most at work? When you can take ownership, and when can you take ownership? When you have full freedom to take decisions. Because actually when you make a decision at that point, and that is impacting the business's growth, you feel very good at the end of the day. See, no doubt actually, everybody say, why entrepreneurship? Because I am the owner, I make more money. No. That is not the case actually, because people don't get motivated by money alone. And let me tell you that honestly, this might sound a little overboard at any point in time for anybody saying, yes, money is important, no doubt at the end of the day. Today we might be driving an 800, tomorrow we might want to drive a Zen, or a bigger car, and then we want to buy a sedan, and so on and so forth. All of us for sure aspire more. But having said that, the spirit of entrepreneurship would stem from the feeling of freedom and the ability to take responsibilities of things. Because you feel good, because you feel powerful, and you want to take the decision which is impacting. One. And in a corporate setup, unfortunately, let us also understand, see, you might believe in a fantastic idea, you want to implement it. But look at that hierarchies and the details which will go through. And product manager has to confirm, then the VP, products has to confirm, then the business side has to confirm, so on and so forth. Actually, by that time you possibly say you want to push an interesting idea, the spirit dies. Actually, that's what, I felt. Even Wipro, I have a lot of respect. It's one of the best organizations to give freedom to people in the way they operate. And I would say, I was happy that I was in Wipro. But having said that, even that constrained me. When you want to do things faster, when you want to race up faster, organizations will always choke you. And if you can go to throw back and ask me the question that, does your organization then choke all the people who are there? I want to tell you that yes, that's the biggest challenge we have. Because we don't want to curb the spirit and freedom of the person who's working for me. But at the same time, we understand there is a certain bit of control. So that's why when organizations operate, even a startup environment, grows faster. And why it grows faster? Because they are more nimble. They're more nimble, so they can spiral faster, they can move faster. So that's exactly what I felt was a problem. On top of all these things, obviously, no doubt, the belief that possibly this would give us a little more economic freedom. I hail from a normal middle income family. My dad was a banker in Bank of India, and a very normal, how it is nationalized banks paying even when we retire. So I don't come from any of the, family of wealth, etc., where I'm coming from. So I don't even know that. So I also obviously somewhere wanted to unlock from the middle income tight spots which everybody gets into. 25th day of the month, my family money is tied up, So when I looked at all these things, let's say freedom at work, ability to take decisions, feel a lot more responsible and hence powerful, and then at the end of the day, some bit of wealth which you can create, and the most important of all, actually the beauty of an entrepreneurship for sure, okay, is the fact that actually you create employment across. And for a country which is starved, which is possibly still poverty and like us, if every person can employ 5 people, 10 people, etc., who has the drive, has the ability, has the inner calling to do that, is creating a great value to the society and to our mother nation actually. So all these things together is what possibly made me plunge into the sea.
Coming to Casa Grande, how did you start off? Because obviously real estate is not as easy as starting off an IT company where you can start off with a computer. Okay? So like you said, you came from a middle income family. So how did you get into it? How did you start off? It must have been very difficult.
See, real estate, in fact, I would say real estate is not the space a lot of people should do startup actually, I would say. But luckily, God willing, at that point in the market was still a little different. See, we started with the limited capital 60 lakhs, and that was not my money. My friend's father gave him that money, and he said, you give me a stake, I'll give you money, sir. 60 lakhs. And even those days, 60 lakhs was nothing to start a real estate company. So even today, people want to start real estate, they would start with a minimum 100 crores in the pocket. That's the kind of people who normally start real estate. We said 60 lakhs, what do we do? So let us say, let's test out the waters. Anyways, we failed to do business, one more business, what happens? Kind of a thing, but obviously we had the hunger to win. We had the hunger to succeed, but having said that, we had failed, not failed, I would say, I want to be so harsh on myself. I would say, didn't reach the destination which you want to. Because one venture was doing well, whatever. We could still sell that venture at 20, 30 lakhs at the end of the day and come out of it. But that's not nothing much today, right? So when we said 60 lakhs, and 60 lakhs was nothing. So we said, fine, let's test out, let's do one project. If we can scale that up, we'll start doing that. The minute we started scaling that up, we saw success in the project and customers were happy. Then we started showing the same models to 100 people. In fact, as much as I would scout for land for half of the day, I would scout for half of the investors. Second half of the day would be to go pitch into the typical Maruti communities, pitch into all these people saying, I found this land, will you put in my money, you will give you 30% returns, I will give you equity, etc. Every day my business is always about chasing money, chasing properties. So that's the way we balanced it, which is the only way. Then when we started performing, because the biggest problem is the minute you have taken money from somebody, forget about all the legal obligations, the papers you signed. There's a moral obligation too. There's a moral obligation that you want to somewhere prove you are good, and hence the fact that he trusted and gave me money doesn't go wrong. So when we worked on it, actually we started seeing success. So what we started doing was actually leveraging on our 60 lakhs to close to 5-6 crores in the next 1 to 2 years. The minute 5 to 6 crores happened, you could then go to organized institutions like banks, etc., and ask for a little bit more money, and then started doing bigger projects. So that is how we slowly spiraled ourselves. But in the path, money alone is not the constraint. What obviously the biggest challenge is finding the like-minded people to work on an environment which is more a startup. And real estate, nobody starts off as with small pockets actually. People start off with, those days maybe 30-40 crores, maybe today 100 crores. So that's a way kitty with which real estate companies start. So they have plush office, etc. We said nothing. I don't even have an office on my first project. Actually, when the customer says they'll come and hand over the check, and I say, no sir, I'm going that side. I'll come and collect the check and go. So this is how we ran the journey. So obviously, but what it helped us, always kept us nimble. See, then you're not worried. When you're not running big overheads now, you have a big freedom actually. Saying, boss, today if I need to scale down business, if the market is low, etc., I can move, expand myself, thin down myself the way I want. The minute you accumulate fat in the system, in terms of the overheads, is the problem. Doesn't mean after a particular size you cannot not have overheads. But in that are you nimble? In that are you nimble? In that are you able to move faster than the others? Is the question. So that is what broadly it is.
So it would also turn out that the team is very, very important. So how do you go about selecting the right team? When you start off, the first set of maybe 10, 15, 20 people that you have will be very, very crucial, right? So how did you select that? And of course in your business, the other end would be the construction workers and all that. So
we are not talking about that because we were outsourcing construction at that point in time. Regarding the initial team, see what I was looking out for in the people I was selecting at the initial stages, either be for employment and so on and so forth. Primarily, I didn't want the typically, though we had those options to get the typical B school boys of those days. I am also an MBA student, etc. But we had a choice, right? We could typically take that kind of guy, etc. No, I said no, I don't want those guys. Actually, because I thought it might not suit the environment which we have at that point in time. A small office, something not much of kind of a. So we said we want people who are from the little bit of lower and middle income family, who are hungry, who need to take the money back home for them at the end of the month, for them to run their family. That's the first bit. Younger, okay, hungry, but he's seeing something. When you say ask him what do you want to do from 5 years from now, the typical HR question everybody asks. There's a meaning to that. Actually, that guy says something a little bigger than what I can immediately envisage for him. I think he's my pick. Because at least he has a bigger aspiration. That's what I believe. He has some bigger aspiration. He has a taller goal in life and he wants to achieve a little more. Those are the kind of guys. A little lower middle income, hungry, kind of thing. This was my typical fit of the people we recruited. Either it be accounts or either it be sales. I mean, to me, this trait I was continuously watching for. And I believe these are the kind of guys when you take an employment and a startup mode will work better. Actually, there's against a typically a B school guy, a little more from a more wealthier background, etc. Not that these guys won't perform. The number of guys who can, find out who will stretch that bit will be a little smaller as a percentage. Here the percentage will always be higher. It's like David versus Goliath story. Nobody would expect David to ever win. But why he wins? Because his hunger is higher, he is a little more nimble, he finds a little bit more knack because he needs to take the money back home. So that's the way it is.
And in your opinion, how important is having a partner or a co-founder?
See, I would say I have a partner who owns 50% of the enterprise equally. And I believe that's one of the best decisions I have taken. And I will tell you why. Okay. Yeah. See, let's say startup environments actually, you need to have some good like-minded reality checks. Okay, you are pursuing a path which you don't know. Every day you are questioning yourself because you are not performing. So today, I will take a decision today faster, and if it goes wrong, nobody will question because I can afford to make mistakes. Not that we don't know mistakes. Not that I want to ever think that people who sit on the hem of us don't do mistakes. We don't never know mistakes. We are afford to do mistakes. But when you're starting, you have very lesser options to make too many mistakes. You don't have choice. So assuming you want to reduce the number of mistakes, you can't not make mistakes. Reduce the number of mistakes. Somebody who's like-minded, somebody who has a little more head up and who's a little more courageous to say that to evaluate your decisions, to make a judgment on your decisions. It gets very crucial at that point in time. One. Point number two, assuming you were to ask somebody for money, okay, say, please give me 1 crore boss, I'm going to do this business, the break business idea, this 1 crore become 10 crores, etc. All the stories you want to give, but he's going to simply ask back one simple question. Let's talk about things. Let's say you have jaundice boss, you are now bedridden for 4 months. What will happen? My money will go for a task. My money is my money. So, there today's scenario, when you go to look at startups with venture funding, etc., you don't have a choice of not going with the team, very clearly. Because we nurture startups in some small way. We have done angel investments more than 2 to 3 enterprises at this moment, and we have nurtured even bigger enterprises earlier. So we realize actually a team is extremely crucial. No, and that also creates a bit of synergy, right? Obviously people with some complementary strengths. One person could be a little more conservative in the way they approach, the other person could be very aggressive. So a team like this possibly, creates a unit which kind of does risk mitigation better. Not that you can do risk-free business, risk-free, no entrepreneurship, no see. So you will have to come out of that space and go back to employment, whatever it is. But I am talking about, mitigating the risk, optimally. So you have a team complementary strengths, somebody is cautioning you, you get a little overboard. You get too conservative, he possibly pushes, etc. So it's very important, and more so because actually, today in venture fund kind of scenarios, if you look at all these options, you don't have a choice. You want money, see, when somebody thinks of an idea, the big problem, they want to keep everything to themselves. Boss, I thought of this idea, it's my idea, I want to own it, I want to own 99.999% of the company. No, so what, it's my idea, my baby, etc. Your idea is not even mature. Nobody wants to tell somebody on the face that your idea is not even mature. You have not even evolved a business model, you might not have even got a proof of concept. Then, what is your thing of so that's what I'm saying, you will have to let go, you have to share wealth today. Today, if you're not willing to share wealth, then very difficult, very lesser possibilities of growth. And I always believe 1 plus 1 is always greater than 2. 1 plus 1 is always greater than 2 in a human dynamics. Very clearly, you will have to be willing to let go. In fact, we are one of the, why I am saying all this very confidently is not that, I give a lot of tall stories, Arun Kumar was called, he gave all great stories, etc. You go back, it's not doing, I do this. Today, we are one of the first few enterprises in real estate space to give stock options. When we want to tie good people in, people who are very crucial for your next 4 to 5 years growth, or a 3 to 4 years growth, it's very, very important. How do you tie him down to the organization? Make him part of the whole, earnings, make him whole part of the whole valuations. Ultimately, then he is bonded in a sense. And yes, possibly, in a pure remuneration scenario, you might have given him, 1 crore for the period of 5 years. Here you might have part with 5 crores, so be it. He's participating some risk, trim his salaries, don't say, boss, you don't take too much variable now. I'm giving stock options, you run the upside. So that it does work. So you should, in all the sense together, I told you that actually, creating a team which shares wealth along with you is very important. Yes, I'm not saying you should share 50-50, I'm not saying that. Maybe you share somebody who thought through the idea says, I want to hold on to whatever 50%. No, go hold on 50%. I will give more, I will give hold on 60% extra. The numbers I'm not getting into in terms of how it works with any enterprise. Somebody would have run through for 3 years, it could be the last stage of inflection. So at that point you might not want to part, that's fine. So you will have to decide on the call at which you started, etc. We started together, we ran the whole risk together. So hence we believe in sharing things together.
And talking about funding and venture funding, you were venture funded very early on. And you were also actually one of the few companies that bought out the venture fund at a huge premium. I think 11 times, 10 to 11 times you bought them out. Can you give us a little background about how, first of all you approached the VC, how you got funded, because I think that particular fund you were the only real estate in the entire portfolio. So how did you convince them? And then what made you actually buy them out instead of giving them some other exit option?
Sure. See, real estate, the last part of the question I'll quickly answer first. See, how did we buy them out? Luckily, real estate is a more cash positive kind of business, cash generating kind of business. So obviously it throws a bit of a surplus, etc. And we had sizable amount of projects in the pipe which you could discount and buy them out at a sizable kitty. Having going back to the first question of how did we pitch into the venture fund? See, what does a venture fund look at? Okay, let us say you don't see it as what venture fund looks at. Let's for a second turn the table the other way around. Let us say we are all venture funds together. Okay, let us say we want to fund a venture. How would you fund a venture? Let us talk from a very simple sense so we understand that very clearly, because we always say what is venture fund thinking, what is venture thinking. Let's say we are the venture fund, okay? What would you do? Obviously, there are the 3-4 primary parameters which you will want to see in an idea, okay? Nobody wants to fund PowerPoints anymore, and that's very early stages. Yes, that is happening, but they want to see whether you have some skin in the game. Say, have you parked 5 lakhs of your money, 10 lakhs of money, 15 lakhs of money into the business? How much years have you spent? Which if you had gone for a salary, you would have earned that money. What is the money which has gone into the business? All this is a first commitment which somebody who wants to move funds will want to see. Okay, which is exactly what they saw as point number 1. Point number 2 is the idea easily, to me, as I see it, is the idea simply narratable in 2 to 3 lines. An idea, if it cannot be simplified, cannot ever become business ideas. My broad philosophy. It can be narrated in 2 to 3 lines, which has scalability. They say, yes, this idea is great because there is a genuine pain point in the customers at this point. But having said that, it possibly, yes, if it is done well in one space, you can either multiply it in geographical zones or you can skim a particular city, etc. So you have scalability to the business. So that is something very, very important actually. The third is primarily the idea itself by itself. You would want to see whether the idea has its merits, which addresses the pain points of the audience. And on top of all these things, the idea, the people behind it, and the industry at that point in time. So let us say that our industry, as I said, we did branded fruits. Maybe in another 4 years it will catch on as a big idea. Who knows? It could be ITC who could be doing it. ITC would brand a fruit today, and people will say, boss, ITC is branding, but nobody thought chicken will ever be branded. Today, we know very well, Real Good is one of the fast selling brands in terms of chicken. And let us say, Suguna will also come up with their own branded, packed chicken. So it's every daily cut. We're not talking about frozen actually. The logistics supply chains are matter. So if that can happen, fruit will anyways come. It's only a matter of another 1 to 2 years or 3 years. So it cannot be ahead of time. So we'll have to ensure the industry at that particular time, is at a point where it can grow or take off bigger. Because see, no doubt you might do a great idea very well. You might execute it very well. But if the whole industry or the macro factors are not, supporting it well, it gets difficult. Not that you will have to, feel bad that you have not, you have not done a bit. Sometimes actually, it has to go well for you in the sense of the macro factors, because you can't push a market. It's not responsible. Luckily, MySpace was different. Home is going to be never ending and it's going to exist. The games are no different. And today you have 100 builders. At the time, 20 to 30 reputed builders. Today, 150 reputed builders. So game is changing. But having said that, you have your own competencies. In any business whatsoever, we don't have to look at it as real estate at all. Whatever business you will have to look at, you'll have to look at a clear competitive edge. The famous saying goes, if you don't have one competitive edge, don't compete. You have to know one thing which you are good at and what you are trying to do. It has to reduce the pain point of the end customer. It has to have scalability. The idea has to primarily have merit. And you need to have a core team which looks trustworthy, which looks hungry. I don't want to even use any other word saying smart, intelligent, etc. I don't know all these things. I don't know how many people can make a judgment of somebody is intelligent, smart, or capable, etc. in a shorter duration of whether you can fund or no. But do they look hungry? Do they want to? Have they put some skin in their game? In the sense, have they invested something of themselves? So that is what I believe possibly would make a difference.
Also, in your journey of the last so many decades, what would you say would be the biggest mistakes that you would make as an entrepreneur, and how have you overcome them?
Mistakes which I mean, not that I'm thinking a lot of mistakes. I'm thinking how many mistakes I list out. So don't ever think I've not made mistakes. So as I start off actually in the fact of thinking of ideas ahead of time. Point number 1. Thinking of businesses which don't have scalability. Point number 2. Let me not even cite from my own examples. So let's say we funded a spa chain actually. I'm not part of it now. We exited it some time back. But I believe even that was, had a bit of scalability issue in terms of human factors. See, there are some businesses where skilled, the business looks very good when you're running 2 spas. Fantastic, great margins, good turnover, volumes are good, numbers are looking very good. The minute you start chasing, and suddenly, trying to scale up to something like another 15 more spas, then they are suddenly running helter-skelter for people. And if you're not getting the kind of skilled people to do a specific therapy, the customer who was so excited and happy till now to walk into spa again is not coming. one customer, one bad experience is good enough. He's not going to come into a service business actually like a spa. So then what happens? So, these are all the multiple challenges normally comes in. Okay, coming from my own experiences actually in terms of things, when 2-3 things go well, actually you get very, very positive, you think, okay, fine, everything we can handle this, that and all. So then you entrench or put your foot into some risk zones which you can't manage. Okay, it's my experience. I don't know whether that's purely good, a good example of what are the issues or the problems which will come up. But we did those things. Actually, we were very aggressive. The minute we saw 3-4 projects success, there is nothing go wrong. Let's go. We went ahead and blocked some money in particular parcels of land. Who said it will finish it and give it to us, etc. All this land money got stuck suddenly. So what suddenly we were generating some 3-4 projects of profit, what it should have become 15-14 projects immediately. Suddenly we were dwindling down because money was getting stuck in 4-5 pockets. So we couldn't handle the complexity. So it's important to scale up. No doubt, you'll have to be a little aggressive as an entrepreneur, but you'll have to watch your steps. Take very calculated gambles actually, because you're learning the space. See, assuming you have been working in an environment or an industry, from where you branching up saying, I can do better than this and I will start, the journey better. But when you're venturing into a business where you don't have an experience of running, the problems could come from many directions, I would say, possibly. So you have to be a lot more cautious. So I'm 1 minute saying, okay, fine, be very aggressive, 1 minute saying be cautious. I'm also saying you have to tread a path which you believe you can handle. Because it does get very pressurizing, it will just bog you down, it will make you ask a lot of self-doubting questions saying, am I good, should I be here, maybe I'm not cut out for this, I don't know, kind of questions will come, that's bound to come. But the point is actually, that is why it's important to take necessary cautions for every move which you take. You have, you keep covering yourself well. Okay, fine, I'm taking a little more aggressive call here. Can I go a little more conservative in this venture? I'm taking a very aggressive order here. Can I go try and take a little more conservative order here? If you take 2, 3, 4 more aggressive orders, let's say, then what I can tell you, you start messing up with everything. Then everybody starts complaining. Then you suddenly start asking questions. Oh, I don't know, maybe I'm not good here, maybe I'm not cut off for this. That's not the case. You cannot be, you'll have to balance yourself between the, bit of aggression and, I would say refined aggression is what possibly is the name of the game today, as I see it.
And when you're looking at scaling up, what would your advice be for startups or people who are just starting or in the process of growing their businesses? What would be your advice for scaling up the company?
See, scaling up the company actually will throw 2 to 3 challenges for sure. One is primarily the capital. Okay, for sure, there are very few businesses who can scale up without capital. Very few. Okay, and the other primary challenge is the resource, the people behind it actually. How would we get the kind of a real quality of people actually when you want to scale up at a particular speed, which will become the next challenge. Having said that, actually, it is very important for people to get carried away. Saying, boss, no, I want to own this company. I'm sure you're seeing a lot of positive signs. Let me not, venture into equity and dilute something and I have somebody coming and questioning me, etc. I'm the king, I'll run it like the king. But what gets very important is, you don't want to take certain risks at a point because your business is a little smaller for it to think. So you bring the other guy on board who's willing to partner the risk and be, more than generous to actually offer that bit of a stake, because he's also not coming from the window of time to take your business away. Nobody wants your share of the business because they want to take it away from you. They want a share of the business because he believes, boss, you'll make me sit on a lion along with you and run. So I don't know when he'll get off, we have to get out of it and he's going to eat us up. So he also doesn't know. So he's coming a little more blinded, which is why he's asking for the extra. So be open to the word equity. I'm sure all of you all do know equity and be open to the word equity. It is very important today that you get somebody, even today, actually yes, I have an option. Even today we were discussing a project, we had to do a huge crore, let's say a 50-80 crore acquisition. It's very simple for me to say, I can leverage from my bank is willing to give me 30 crore check, okay, I'll move the balance 40-50 crores, let's buy the property. No, I said no. We already exposed ourselves to the banks for 100 crores, 150 crores for this year. Let's not overexpose ourselves. Let's get on with the equity. Let's get the risk money in so that contingency. And business will everything go right? No, not. Trust me, out of 4 decisions you take, if 2 have gone well, you are going to be success. 2 will go wrong. So at that point, or in that bit of, in our case, when I say equity and go wrong, the project might not do very well, etc. Might throw you a spot where the project is taking a lot more time to get it approved. Something, money is not flowing in the speed at which you wanted, sales is not happening, all those things. So we take equity. So the same way you might take equity in your venture. So that is very, very important. regarding people, if you don't have a good organizational chart, a good people strategy in place where you are ultimately trying to scale up, you will have problem. And I'm talking about the smallest business to the biggest business. Let us say you want a restaurant, people problem. Let us say you want to set up an IT which can possibly become a big services company with of 300 crore, 500 crores, you are able to get orders from US, same problem. Everywhere people getting quality people will become a problem. So you need to decide where are all the roles which are very crucial, which are value drivers to your business, where you need till you get the best talent, you cannot go about recruiting because he will retard your growth. You've taken a guy who's not thinking aggressively the way you're thinking and you put him on a growth, there are some modules of business which are growth related. Some business is part of the business which is consolidation related. So if you don't have aggressive guys on the growth and if you don't have the good guys on the consolidation who will safeguard your business thing, you have to have these balances. So all this HR strategy has to be in place. See, it's so much bigger, right? I'm talking about very simple things. It's like, you have to have a daily game plan. You need to know 3 months from now where would you be, 6 months from now where would you be, 3 years from now where would you be. I'm saying even for a startup. Say, boss, I just started, I don't even know what to start. How will I put 3 years plan? You put a plan. You put a plan. You put your 3 years plan. Whatever business you're doing, you put a 3. Assume you want to grow. We're not talking about people who want to do something small and you don't want to keep it small. Yes, then there's a different approach to it. But if you want to scale it up bigger, etc., put a 3-year plan. Let it go wrong. Let it go totally out of context. In 6 months it will look out of context. Either you would surpass the growth or you might not even be hitting 1/10, which is what most of the time will happen. It's fine. So you just kind of toggle to that. But having said that, these two will be the primary risk elements in growth phase.
Now, during your own journey, and you would have definitely seen a lot of entrepreneurs, everybody will have when you're starting your own company, right? Ups and downs, and self-doubts and moments of euphoria like you mentioned. So at what point you take a step back and say, you know what, this business is actually not going to go anywhere. I've stuck it for 3 years. It's a dead end. Let me stop this. Let me go do something else. Is there any particular point that somebody can look at it? Is there something like that? I know it's a very deep question.
I know exactly. No, I don't know. Honestly, the answer is I don't know. He has asked a very pertinent question in terms of saying, we get very passionate about it, very emotionally connected, romancing the business, That's what happens to all of us. Having said that, if, then you say, can I, see whether I can do something, etc. You're too much of thing is involved. It is when, it gets very important to get a little objective. Say, I only have to tell you what possibly should be done because I don't know, even I am very passionate about business, hence very emotionally connected to business. This is a problem for all of us who start businesses. See, what we have to see, we also at a point walked away from the business. So to that extent I have a learning to say that yes, you have to get an objective here. You will have to tell yourself, is this getting you anywhere? So let us not chase, it's a saying which says, don't chase good money with the bad money which is already gone out of your hands, So don't chase. Same way, already enough and more of your good energy is gone. If you think, somewhere it is not taking you somewhere, you will have to make those objective goals. But when do you take? Because nobody says, no, there's other saying actually, the flip side which says that, boss, you have hit 100 feet, another 10 more feet would have got you the results. I'm sure you guys have heard a story where there is somebody who said there's a treasure at this place, if you go deeper. So somebody, dug up to 1,000 feet and walked away, and the other guy came in and dug the last 10 feet and he walked away with the treasure. So I'm saying, see, these are all, contrarian views which exist, in life as a philosophy or the way we believe. But, I honestly don't know an answer, which is a very pertinent question. But having said that, the only thing which I can tell you guys, any of your honesty is be objective. Be objective in your own business, actually. If, the only thing you ask yourself is, the service I'm offering, the product which I'm offering, whatever that might be, if I were to go the other side and I were to see it very objectively, am I seeing that bit of a difference? If I'm seeing a difference, my product or my service is making a difference, why are more people not buying? Okay, if it's because of the budget constraints, then you see, fine, maybe funding is a problem. Then you go do it and correct it. And same way, if you go on digging deeper into every aspect of the business and cover it all 360 degrees, and it's still not getting you somewhere, there's a problem. Your passionate and your romance of the business possibly is, blinding you. So to that extent, maybe some point in time you should step away.
Very interesting answer.
I don't know, because I don't know the answer. Honestly, I don't know. I was also thinking, there are other things which I have a clear, firm point of view on what I'm talking. These things I don't know, because people do tend to get very emotional about the business.
Especially in India, I think they get very emotional.
That's the way we made. That's a good thing and a bad thing. As a setup, we are that. which is what possibly, somewhere is a better institution. We, as an institution, our marriages work better because for us commitment works more than, dispassionate viewing of the way the relationship is spanning out. Say, no, this is a commitment I have made for this person for the next 30 years. Every day you're getting scolded, every day you're getting hit. You'll have commitment, but the institution works better as such. And we'll have to give it that fair leeway. So, but that's what makes us a people, right? So,
as an angel investor, you come across several companies, I'm sure, and several entrepreneurs. What is the predominant trend that you're seeing among these entrepreneurs, and what would your advice be to budding entrepreneurs?
As I'm saying it actually, today's generation, what has happened is, I don't know, for some reasons actually, people are coming with the belief that, entrepreneurship journey will be easy. Okay? Good idea will have great money chasing, etc., etc. I mean, I'm not generalizing this and I don't know, but my own limited experiences, they come from a little more on the surface kind of an approach to this. Actually, I believe entrepreneurship is a lot more deeper. See, if you're not willing to put your skin into it, if you're not willing to work your heart and soul into it, and if you're not thinking smart, and if you're not trying to be very committed in the sense of ensuring that ultimately the one guy who's paying you money, your customer, if you're not making a difference to him, if you're not adding value to him, actually you don't do business. You cannot do business. See, it's fundamental, I somehow feel, it's getting a little shallow. What is happening is actually, getting very carried away all the .com, bubble and, all this money and a lot of quick valuations and quick exits, and people are looking at these things. Business should be built on fundamentals of why somebody should buy your service or your product. Why, it is making a difference to you. Why are you different from the other people who might be in the similar space? What is the competitive edge you have, etc. These fundamental questions are not there. They're getting very passionate about an idea, which they're not questioning whether there's some acceptance in the market or the other people who are willing to, buy those ideas. Actually, there are no reality checks. There are no reality checks. They don't ask for people. They're scared. They're so passionate about the idea. They want to ask for people whether this looks interesting. Would you buy something like this? Will you buy a service like this? No, I thought of an idea. That's why I want to keep passionately pursuing that. But they get some initial money. They want to get on with it, and it gets very difficult. Actually, they're not doing the reality checks. They're not willing to do enough market research. Okay, in fact, I think that's the key. If I were to pick one reason for my success is, I mean, not success in the sense of, I don't want to, I'm sound pompous. What I'm saying is, whatever good journey we've had is, I am relentless in the way I go about meticulously collecting information about every aspect of my business. In terms of knowledge, I will be the powerhouse. Not because I'm saying, I'm saying if that is very, very important, because when you do so much of extensive research, so let us say you met 4 people in a particular industry who you want to before you want to meet. Can you meet 10 more people? Who stops you? No, what they are saying, what immediate response is today? No, what is only these guys are not going to say, no, I won't believe that. Maybe the 11th day will say something different. 11th day will give a perspective, and it's very important. The point is, if you're not willing to spend your energy there, you get a little lost because your idea has to be confirmed by the market. And your every model, every thoughts has to be somewhere. Everybody will shoot down an idea. Everybody will have something to say. No, I'm sure every person will not have the most intelligent things to say about a business plan. But I'm saying he might have 2 things to shoot down on why it should not be done or why this part of it will fail. And that will give an inclination of, if overall group thinking somewhere, saying, I'm not saying even then you be taken carried away and drop an idea. That's not what I'm saying. But it's very important for you to give a fair weightage to that and evaluate it based on the merits of the points which have been written. So I think, that is what I would say possibly is missing today. For meticulous or you to do a focus, you have a great idea, very nice, etc. Very innovative thought, etc. Call 10 people and say, this is an idea, what do you guys think about, what do you think, etc. Why are you saying this problem, etc. That is what is called a focus group in a market research, right? So that's exactly what people do. What gets done in a professional agency, and we pay 3 lakhs for that. But a startup environment is all your kids and you call your uncle, auntie, cousin, brother, everybody and make sit and talk about this. Maybe they will have 5 things, 10 things to say. We cannot go on getting passionate about it. And the market is not going to. When am I going to check that? When something is failing, that time we'll go check, is it? Something is failing, okay, let's go talk to the people and everybody will say, what, who will buy branded food? Stupid. No, maybe it's stupid. We should realize a long time back. So this is what happens actually in this space and today's context. I know all this technology related entrepreneurs also, I'm pretty allergic. Not that I have utmost respect, because at the end of the day we are holding a mic technology, we are holding a cell phone technology, somebody thought of it, somebody put the heart and soul into it. But I'm saying, technology without relevance to a simple usage for a common man is value zero. And these people get very passionate about their own technology ideas and etc. So that's what I'm saying, and it doesn't have to necessarily flow from technology. Ideas can come from anywhere. Very simple things today are great business models also. So it doesn't have to be technology. People tend to get very carried away saying, well, new business means has to be technology, intensive, this, that, etc. Technology is one part of the business. It has to ultimately make a difference to the common man. If it doesn't, it has no standing. Or it has to make a difference to an institution to grow. I'm saying a business could be a B2C or a business could be a B2B. So in that sense, it has to make a difference.
My last question. If you could do the entire journey again, is there anything you would do differently?
So many things, right? Yeah. When I look at my business, and I have to tell from my experiences actually, the need to own more of the business gets very high, right? So in the process, we could have, at the point when we had a venture capital, actually we could have easily scaled up a lot faster, even a lot earlier. And as much as somebody would say Casa Grande is a good company, very good, they've grown very fast, 250 crores, Differentiation, 500 crores, etc. It's all nice to hear. But the point is actually, if I had taken a call to grow even faster, I could have leveraged a little more, I could have diluted a little more of my stock options, and I would have been 3 times the size already today. And I would still have been in a position to buy out my venture fund. And I would still held more or less the same of a bigger enterprise. So, what is it that you want to do? Own. That's what is crucial actually at a point in time. It's like you want to own 50% of a 500 crore company, or let us say 70% of a 1,500 crore company. What is it that you want? 50% of 500 crore, or 35% of a 1,500 crore company. Which one do you want? Ultimately, the number game, you are richer that way, you are better off that way actually. So, the entrepreneurs always have a problem in sharing the rewards. See, they don't necessarily come from owning all the money. They also come from fear of losing control, fear of freedom getting curbed, etc. But that is not the case. I don't believe in that, because my own experience with venture funding companies and the equities who have invested has been that actually, obviously let us hunt for the right guy. I'm sure all of us hunt for our right spouse. We meet 10 women before we find a person, or we meet 10 guys before ultimately we find a spouse. But what gets very important is actually, when you find the right fit, it is go ahead and it's good to dilute. It's good to dilute and take money which will help you grow faster. The same 10 years, I'm saying, I'm giving a story, right? I'm okay, fine, we are doing reasonably well. Obviously, you all, he had a lot of good things to say. But there are companies the same 10 years have grown 3 times the size. At least 3 companies I know in the real estate space who grown to 3 times the size. Why did they? You read their books, very clear. They had the courage to go ahead and dilute and scale bigger. But some businesses will call for money to scale. And you don't want to dilute at all. You're very scared. You want to hold back the whole kitty, or you're worried about the freedom, etc. Find your right fit. Find your right partner, and then go ahead and be willing to do that, because it will help you scale up bigger. Now, as much as 1 plus 1 is greater than 2 for a team, 1 plus 1 is also greater than 2 for even a investor venture fund kind of scenario. You don't want to be 1. You want to be 1 plus 1, and you want, so that will lead you more than 2. And then the extra beyond the 2, you take bigger chunk. Let them take lesser chunk. But it's fine with that. It's fine with that.
Thank you so much. That's my question. We'll throw the floor open to Q&A.
Sure.
My name is Bonus Property. I'm a startup. I have a couple of questions for you.
Sure.
One is, you also started as a startup. So when you started as a startup, how did you attract customers, and how did you attract the investors to invest in your business?
Sure.
That's number 1. Number 2 is that as a startup somewhere you got stuck up and I don't know what to do.
Correct.
So how did you overcome? And number 3 is, how did you attract the employees to join your company as a startup?
As a startup. So let me say, let me understand questions one by one. I sometimes my memory is bad. What is the first question?
First question is that as a startup, how did you attract
customers?
Customers and investors.
Investors, okay. They are 2 separate animals. Animal, don't mind when I use the word animal. I'm saying the way they behave. They behave differently. That's what I meant. See, customer, when you believe he is smarter, makes you think more on the business. And I'll tell you why. When you look at customer space, actually, you say, okay, fine, what do you do? Oh, put 1,500 square foot apartment here, go ahead and sell it in the market. Then what you will do, you will make it a commodity. Okay? There are a lot more people who are doing the same thing, etc. So what can you think and do differently? Let us say, for example, I'm giving you an example. The second project was in Nanganallur, where I know the affordability is only for 2 bedroom. No, Nanganallur is not the Nanganallur those days. The affordability was only 2 bedroom, only put down 2 bedroom. But everybody had a need for a third bedroom. Was their relative will come at the end of they will come, how will they all stay? Put one chadar in the hall, so they will all sleep on 6 people sleep in the hall. Typical, right? That's how it works. So what we did was in this 24 apartments, 2 bedroom house which we did, we plumbed 2 common bedrooms on the ground floor level, which they all can together share. So why was I saying that was, when we start innovating, as an entrepreneur, if you are not able to innovate and create a competitive advantage, no good. So if somebody says, okay, fine, I'll also be one more layer, all the guys are doing, let me also do, then you will only share the margin with this 6 people. You'll be very clear. If either you are innovative or you are different, because at a point in time, there are only so many people to come and buy for so much rupees. How are they going to come to you first? It's a question you have to ask yourself. So that is what, so you have to be innovative and be competitive different. Regarding the investor, see what does he look at? Actually, let us be very clear. He wants money, he wants returns. Let us be very clear. You might be having 100 passion, great ideas, etc. My money is coming in, how is my money going to come out with my returns? It's a first. Second, it's a question he's going to ask. You should have obviously a proof of concept in terms of what you've already done, executed, etc. This is how it is. You should have a vision to grow. See, vision to grow in a sense that actually assuming you are coming in here, boss. This is where I might take the company to, and if I take the company to, either I'll buy you out, either I might, another big investor would come, or you will find your own exit through IPOs, any of these things. I mean, they're all big talks, IPOs, etc. Even parking it aside, so I'm saying, he should understand when he would get his money out. Because he's invested in a good idea, but he needs to know when he's going to come out. So he's going to ask those stories. You have to give clarity on that. And more importantly, you'll have to show consistent growth, idea, people, things. So these are all the parameters which you have to convince the investor. So having said that, what is the other question you asked me?
The other question is the startup, you are a serial entrepreneur. Startup, somewhere you got stuck in some problem or some organization or which you are running, and you don't know what to do.
See, in fact, I'll tell you a very classic example. We generated 2 crores of surplus in the first 2 years. Very good, very happy, excited. Went and parked it with one politician who said, will align a land for us, etc. The second day, the money was gone. The government toppled. All these things happened exactly at the same time. Didn't topple. This guy went out of portion. Suddenly, this guy was not reachable. Then, who do you go? In political setups, etc. So, we chase these things. This can happen. Real estate, unfortunately, we are chasing these guys also. So, what happens? See, the one is to say the boss, this whole thing is collapsed, etc. Feel nervous, etc. We only told ourselves that, the business is proved right. One decision has gone wrong. Let us start from fresh. I would possibly think, when this kind of situations happens, it is your self-belief and the commitment to the business which is what will hold you together. And say, fine, it's okay, some things will go wrong, it will get wiped out. Things, we can get up and run again. If you expect you to run your marathon without having a single full entrepreneurship journey, in my limited experiences, actually you have no chance whatsoever. So you'll be ready to fall down 4 times, hurt yourself bigger ones, hurt yourself smaller ones, etc. But the relentless ability to say run. But the customer should be confirming your business. If somebody, till the business is a business, if a customer is willing to pay money for your service or product, if that is happening. Otherwise, you're chasing only building one product, developing a product, prototype, you're building a software, everything. It is no good. Somewhere you'll have to test your model where you go pitch in and somebody says, good idea seems okay, I'll give you on 10 rupees for it. Good enough. I'm saying that's the first confirmation. If somebody is willing to buy a product, I think you can always come out of all the other problems. If you're not able to ultimately find a celebrity to your commercial aspect to your business, no good. And people get very passionate. Keep building products. Very interesting, exciting product, technology products, software services, in terms of sales product automation. I've seen so many of these business areas recently. I said, boss, they built all these things. How many people have I approached saying, I will give you 10 rupees for that or 100 rupees for that. Actually, they said, no, they haven't got 3 years in business. Scared to take it to the market, scared to, take it ultimately to the market. I would say put it on the asset on day one, you create a prototype, say this is my product offering, will you give me any money for that? Walk to 10 people, they will tell you what is the problem.
Got it. Third is, how did you attract employees when you don't have a brand as a startup?
See, I'll tell you what possibly is the challenges when we need to recruit at a small size. Nobody per se, etc. I know at that stage what gets very important is the phase of the entrepreneur. Okay? When you get bigger, when you get larger, you might be having recruitments, people getting retrenched, etc. At the same time, churns happening faster, etc. I don't even know. But at the early stages, your phase is ultimately the point of connect. Okay, and you will have to pitch in only your phase because the company, your phase is more important than the company because company they are not existent. So when you connect and you say this is what we want to do, this is what, because you might have to attract a lot of very premium talent also. You cannot, it's not like every time you attract only 12,000 rupees, 10,000 rupees, 7,000 rupees also. You might have to, for a business recruit one designer who's at 55,000 rupees, but you can pay him only for 35,000 rupees. Then what happens? Obviously, it is a phase, your path, your willingness to share the rewards of it, etc. That is what will primarily, ultimately help actually. And the minute we become a businessman now, entrepreneurs also, the other problem is you start getting this one small shade of you, which is the typical, the mother is born, so long. You say, he's come, you can't come. Suddenly, the language, so some people, I'm not saying for everybody, for some people it changes. All these things are all nonsense, you can't do all these things, boss. But you will have to request him, you will have to see. In fact, you will have to, do your sales pitch to him for him to come and work for you. It is not the other way around. And when you want good people, and if you don't have good people also, it's very difficult to survive. I mean, obviously, if you don't have quality people actually in a setup per se, how are you going to push your growth? Because a good guy is worth some risk because he will help you trigger a move to the higher opportunity even faster. So that is what will become very crucial. Yeah.
Understood, but how do you attract the person like that? Because you don't have a brand and he's not going to trust you. Good guy is not going to trust you. So how do you attract?
On a pure personal pitch. And comfort to say that this is what is my journey and I'm very passionate about my idea. This company I want to take it to the highest levels and I want for that, a person like you will be very important. Very important in my journey. Having said that, I'm willing to share the rewards with you. And if you say that and you say that with honesty, there's a good chance, among 10 people, 2 people will take the idea. They say, fine. Because this is excitement. In a small startup, look at it this way. Even if he's a talented guy, he doesn't have an opportunity to do 100 things newer, set up things in place, etc. Because in bigger environments, he gets very narrowed down on one particular job. You take that, you run that. That's all. But that way they will give you more. They'll give you another 40%, 50%, 100% also more salary. Here he has an opportunity to set things up. He has an excitement. There are a lot of people who love that excitement actually. He say, fine, be willing to share. If there's a very exceptional resource you find, say, boss, you do this another 1 year. If you can perform this and this is the numbers you track, I'm willing to give you a 0.2% of my enterprise cost. That's yours. Assuming you perform. Simple. Take it to the results. Because if this guy performs and if he thinks this idea big and ultimately you can unlock value someday, it's possible.
I have a couple of questions. As opposed to build to flip and build to last, what do you think an entrepreneur should do? Because right now, anyone who is emotionally attached to a business would try to keep continue his business even when there's a possible acquisition which could profit them. What would be a suggestion for that?
See, it is very individualistic. See, if there's a good valuation you're built into the enterprise, nobody comes and tell you that you should unlock it and come out of it. It is your call whether you want to unlock it and come out of it or you want to stay in it.
The possibility that the person who is trying to take over you would also be your competitor and will obviously venture against you, possibly. So at that point, would you rather face the competition and try to compete with him rather than selling it off and start another venture as be a serial entrepreneur? Okay. Because the emotional attachment that one has on a particular
see, if he's going to buy the business to kill the business so that he can survive, which can also happen. If he's going to buy the business to ultimately, kill the business, that's possible because a lot of people who have a bigger, deeper pockets will buy a smaller business to ultimately finish stuff so the brand gets even bigger and bigger. That's a possibility. It is the way the entrepreneur ultimately wants to see that and makes an objective call whether he can fight the bigger way. See, you are not all the time, fighting a close competition. You might be fighting a big whale in an ocean where you are possibly a size of a small goldfish, actually, if that's the case. Whether you have the wherewithal, whether it is logically possible to fight is one call. Otherwise, at the end of the day, yes, you are heading for a war. But assuming, however, say I have the passion and commitment and you are going in without a sword and a shield, is there a good chance? So then is there a call for you to say, would I have to step back and I don't have a choice? These things do happen. So instead of getting too bogged down by that, I would possibly say, if you can have a strategic discussion or dialogue with the bigger guy who says, I will take you over, and say, can we realign and create a small business within your business, and we may have an amalgamated shareholding or something like that, is also possible. But depends on the size you are operating currently at, exactly whether you want to do that. Say, you want to flip or you want to sustain, is pure multiple, what EBITDA multiple, what turnover multiple, this all is the numbers they keep chasing. I honestly don't think in business you should look at business where it clearly has sensible revenues, okay, has operating margins, okay, if not for a clean, a gross margins, at least an operating margin it has to have. If you don't show that, a clear commercial model, I think it's all gone. Those businesses don't exist today. Earlier, remember, all the website businesses were all, even, you get so much of traffic into your website, they could get valued and move on. That is gone now. It's not there. Now then it came to, you show me some revenues, we'll give you the valuations. That is gone now. So now it's come to, you show revenues, you show clear margins. At least show me a break even. For me to even do that. I'm not going to be where you're bleeding so much of cost into the model, where ultimately the sales is just not even, measuring up to the cost which is getting infused into the business. So things will change. So it's very individualistic, I would say.
I have a few questions. As a serial entrepreneur, before Casa Grande, you killed literally killed two companies.
Yeah, no, I didn't kill, honestly. I sold it. I didn't kill one business. The other business actually killed itself and killed us. Actually, that's what happened.
I just wanted to know, how did you emotionally manage, help yourself to come out of it?
No, I don't think you emotionally manage it. Passage of time heals everything. Obviously, you're very hurt about the fact that you possibly did something, not so the right thing, in a very diplomatic way, stupid thing in a non-diplomatic way, and possibly, you have failed. Actually, let's face it. It's better to face failures. Look into its face and say, yes, why I failed. This is the reason I failed, and learn from that and move on. So that has happened. So having said that, I have also had my own difficulties of coming out of saying, we did stupid thing, why I think, are we not good enough, are we not capable, etc. The only point is actually, you will have to believe in yourself. Actually, at the end of the day, life comes to only that. Life ultimately, I'm going away from the thought of, the startup extra. I'm moving to the topic of simple things. Ultimately, the only underlying strength which every man gets up and walks out of the day at the 9 o'clock out of his house is a belief that he can do something for himself. Actually, so we cannot afford to lose that, because with the belief you can build a lot more. The minute you don't have that, actually you suddenly are a very different personality. So that is what you should somehow try and hold on, I would say, the way I see it. Sure.
The second one will be like, how did you told you are the first generation entrepreneur in your family. So how did you face the resistance from your family? Like, I believe there might be some resistance during your startup.
A lot of resistance. Actually, see, my mother's side at least was a little exposed to business. But my father's side was zilch, and his father was a bank. His father was supposedly in some employment, whatever. So that's how it was actually, a very typical normal engagement in professions, etc. So obviously they get into a space where, why, what is wrong with you? You are earning what I earned in Wipro. My last salary you are earning already 3 times. Why will you ever do all the stupid things? Flower you are selling, what will you go to tell if I need to start hunting for a girl for you? Telling you my son is selling flowers? This kind of thoughts and this frustration was bound to happen. But the point is, you cannot afford to, at least I believe, you cannot afford to, care much, not care much about what they say. Okay, because very few people in the world who anyway bother about it unconditionally. Let us be very clear. Maybe a couple of your close friends, your mom, dad, your sister, who else, unconditionally will care for you. So assuming they have something, they have a point. Okay, not that the point is relevant and that you should get bogged down by the extra, but you have a responsibility to tell them that, help me, I am trying something new, don't curb my instincts or don't curb my confidence at this moment. I will try and do something for sure in my life very decently. At the same time, these are all the precautions I am taking. I am reasonably qualified. Worst comes to the venture fails also, I don't have to stand in the street. I will still safeguard my own life by this kind of a work or something like that, etc. So don't worry, I am taking my necessary cautions. Help me, wish me, pray for me, and that's all. Thank you, bye-bye. So you have to tell that. It's important because you don't want your role kept saying, I'm waiting for them to say, well, I told you, This is what happened. I told you, no, that you don't want to start that, no, because it's a negative energy. You don't want that. See, I'm not saying there are people who have more courage than that. In fact, I don't have the courage. I want my parents to somehow convince and say, oh, okay, good start, etc. For which I do this. Somebody who has the courage about that can still say that. But give them the fair respect, whether it be a parent, whether it be a sister, whether anybody. They explain what you're trying to do and why, how you covered this. And why you believe, you can, this business is possibly, worthy of pursuing.
One last question would be, like, as an angel investor, what are the key interest areas?
Interest areas in terms of ventures we fund?
Yeah, correct.
See, we have funded at this moment, we into very early, we into healthcare, we into, somewhat into the retail space, and let's say the ones which I'm pursuing now is in one is the interiors, and the other one is into a portal, property portal, etc. So at this moment, actually, we are not a very big fund per se. We were more angel kind of a ticket, 2 crore, 1 crore, 1.5 crore, 3 crore kind of ticket which we like to operate. But we want to start something in the space of either energy, again smaller ideas which we see not very, because energy is again a very big space where not even 100 crores enough. But I'll tell you the other one is. Now this healthcare sector in some small sense, somebody wants to kickstart an idea. But the only thing is actually what the difference is. I do PowerPoint kind of a stage of investment actually. We do PowerPoint stage of investments where we believe there's a good team behind it and there's a good idea. We go out and venture. But we obviously create milestones to invest, saying, at this stage, because you show me this, I'll give you first 30 lakhs. You move on to this, I'll give you next 50 lakhs, and then I'll move on to give you another 1 crore, etc. We fix this, and sometimes the 30 lakhs has gone down the drain, the business gets collapsed then and there. And we see what's very important from our space, from an investment angle is that we need to get a little more dispassionate, because we cannot get passionate like the way entrepreneurs saying, okay, let me pursue this also, let me pursue that also, etc. We have to get a little dispassionate, because we have to be bet out of the 5-6 things we do, 1-2 will become big, or 1 will become big, 2 will become average, and 2 will go washed out. In fact, that's a great rate, if at all you can even hit that. I would say 1:5 is a great number to achieve in a startup. I'm saying at a very early stage kind of a funding.
I have a question. As you scale up in longer term, one of the challenges is the government policies and insurance, which will hold you, even if you want to run faster, there are chances that policies should be a roadblock. So how you and your business managed over the time? So what are the
very important question in a country like India, but that would not have an ailment in every industry. I would think there are some industries which are very government related, policy related kind of industries, not every industry. But having said that, the good way to, I was saying the good way to align it is actually search for a good guy in that space in the government industry, possibly who you can bring in as a mentor. You bring him as a mentor, bring him as a director, bring him as some kind of a conversation, who can give you an early warning signal. See, what is very important is you pursue a course, but ultimately suddenly the whole policy gets changed and then you suddenly, left the. So you have to, somehow, if you believe that is a bearing on your business, you have to get somebody as a mentor into your business, who possibly in the government line, etc. Either officially, unofficially, etc. It is up to you, But there are a lot of people who might do this favor for you. You go ask them. Ultimately, this guy, etc. Go meet him in the evening, say, boss, help me out, boss. I don't even know what to do. I'm very worried whether this will change, that will change. Simple things. This is how it will happen actually in our country. But it works. It works. But if you don't engage and you suddenly have a problem, suddenly the whole thing policy changes. It's finished, right? The whole path, what you built for 6 months, last 6 months effort, would go down.
and one more. So as an angel investor, what is the forum that you just collect ideas and pick ideas to fund? What kind of forums? Where you meet and how you set up the funds?
See, primarily it comes through our own networks because they know the kind of, normally the kind of activities we engage ourselves in, so they know that. But what we obviously now try to do is we also, I'm getting myself into Chennai Angels and a few more forums, etc. I don't know angel networks where we do that. So that's how I'm trying to get on to that. So that's the way we solve such ideas actually.
As an angel investor, when you look at
I can see you.
as an angel investor, when you're looking at a business, what is your preference? Do you look at new ideas or old ideas that new people are trying to do?
Old ideas which are being done differently. Is that what you're saying? Because old ideas, one new person is trying to do, it doesn't make any difference to me. Then they are just competing in the same place and you go to. In fact, I specifically mentioned that in this way, when I was just making a point earlier, that then you're going to only split the business, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why are you going to get your bigger chunk? Already an existing idea and you are going to be one more player, Me Too player in that. You are anyways not helping the market expand. And either is saying I am confident of getting a bigger chunk of it because you don't have a very clear competitive advantage. I would believe in a newer idea. If not a newer idea, an existing idea, an existing simple business model where you believe what this is the competitive edge you can bring into the business, because of which you believe you can raise ahead in the business. Have I answered it?
Partially. I think.
Go on, deeper.
Coming from your Casa Grande experience, you started up in the real estate space. There are a lot of builders or a lot of people who start up in the real estate space and grow really big. Are they essentially always doing something different, or they just happen to be in the space and grow really big? Am I getting my question?
Essentially, they are in this space. So let's look at a scenario. Okay, you are talking about any growth industry, sunrise industry at this moment. Anybody gets in grows? The point is they don't. They're doing something right. See, let's look at a healthcare sector today. Sunrise industry. So you get in healthcare sector, you will grow. You'll scale up. Everybody's scale up. No, so many guys are still getting washed away in this space, right? Why does it happen? Actually, I'll tell you what. In business, what gets very important is you be in the right industry at that time. Ideally, ideal setup. Is actually you have a very clear competitive edge in the space which you are operating. Okay? Point number one, you have to have an innovative competitive edge. If you say no, there's nothing so innovative, etc. I've done, but I still become very successful. Then what? No. The other thing is, bigger problem is somebody has great ideas. A lot of people think, great idea, very spontaneous. They're very creative in the way they think. They assimilate how life works and they find fantastic ideas. But problem is execution. Execution is very big word, right? You don't have chief idea officers running business. Do you know any chief idea officers running business? You don't want that, right? You want people who will ultimately execute to the T, ultimately, so that money gets generated, the cost gets paid, and I'm left with some 10 rupees in my pocket. So execution becomes a very different part of the game. Which is why also the other problem is, those very creative entrepreneurs have great abilities to think of very different ideas, create a good business model, etc. around it. But they ultimately get them to execute, to do the ultimate dirty work, saying, convince this one guy saying, please come and join my company, onwards, to go meeting this corporate government official, say, boss, you someone help me, I don't want to get into this bit of a risk, etc. To onwards, there are people who are not going to get their hands dirty. Ultimately in business, if you're an entrepreneur, no doubt you'll not be a good ideator, actually, but you have to also be a good execution person, actually. So this is what makes a difference. So competitive edge, good execution capabilities, ultimately will take you through. So this is what ultimately is different. So whether you are in a domain which is, a very absolutely new idea, an innovative product, or an existing business model where you're doing something differently, you have to do something differently, and you have to execute it. Those are the only guys, Otherwise, so many pharma sector, health sector ideas are coming up. So many guys are getting washed away. Something is going wrong, right? Otherwise, all the guys in the sunrise industry, everybody should do it.
Okay. How do you beat the herd mentality? Now, it's there among consumers, but among, let's say, even businesses. For example, in the real estate industry, one of the things that's happening is everyone today seems to be advertising a 17 to 18 lakh flat. At that point, how do you see a differentiation in terms of communication or in terms of approaching the business when the market trend is towards a certain kind of product? How do you then devise a way to differentiate yourself?
Before you answer this question, there's a corollary I had, is that it's a very cluttered marketplace in the real estate business that you are in. You yourself said you have 10 players, before now it's 150 players. And Casa Grande still rings a bell in my mind at least, because somehow you're able to keep your brand and so how do you continue to differentiate? How do you get people to buy yours? How do you differentiate? That's the whole thing. Because I know that every day there is a full page. I don't see Hindu now, I just see only the front page cover.
You see elevations and you see
there. So how do you differentiate? Continue to differentiate.
In fact, I thank God even today, only one thing, which is, luckily I am not in an industry which is going to get commoditized. Okay? There are few people, enough and more developers who are trying to drive it to that. I want to tell you that. Then only the price will be the game. What is the difference between today buying a Tata Steel or a Zinda, any other brand of steel, whatsoever, etc., Tulsi or whatever brand. So ultimately you should not let it get commoditized if the business can afford to. Okay. So let me say, what we also did was, or what we are still trying to do, because every day the game was changing. When we didn't want to, when everybody started running the race in one direction, No, I didn't want to see whether I can run in the same direction at my lungs out and run faster. That's not what I tried to do. I ran in the other direction. Let us say, when everybody said apartment, 1,500 square foot, 3 bedroom, clubhouse, swimming pool, it will all fly. When everybody started the same language, he started chasing villas. I'm just saying a small differentiation in this side. Let us say, does it mean every time I can do villa or every time no, I can't. I might have to do an apartment again. I might have to do the same 70 lakh products. If I have to do the product, 70 lakh product, what is my thinking is how much more of a research I can go into the minds of saying, which is the best product in the 70 lakhs. Okay, fine, very good, you know 70 lakhs. Does he know how to furnish a 70 lakh house? So guy who buys 70 lakhs, can he give him a furnishing house there for 1.5 lakhs? Finished also, he knows his house can be well utilized because he knows very well in Bombay, 600 square foot is a very big size house. In Chennai now, he says 600, oh, you bought it, 600, oh, you don't have to understand. So Bombay 600 square foot house is 2.5 to 3 crore. Please go check. You know, room 1.5 to 2, you know, in location like Santa Cruz, etc. Sorry, 200 square foot houses can get sold up to 2 crores. Could you believe this kind of price exists? This exists, right? So, which means they know how to live in the smaller places. Who told you today that you all of you should have 1,500 square foot? All of us simply think, no, buy a house means buy a 1,500 square. Why? You know, you can live very well in a 1,200 square foot. So, we'll have to find ways of trimming down the sizes, creating innovative ideas. Just to give an example. Does that mean, when I say keep renovation house, does it mean I'm going to build triangular home? No. Does it mean circular home? No. I am trying to bring smaller value elements to the house. Actually, for example, when he walks in the house, always some guests come in. I have removed my chapel, it's here. My guests come in, the 4 chapels here. It looks like a temple outside, there are some 10 chapels parked. So, can we kind of create a small niche on one side where you can tuck the chapel up? So, when somebody comes in also, house looks a little more presentable. At least your slippers are not there, at least they are packed away. You know, from on those kind of ideas to, you know, as I said, you know, one more common bedroom in that space, common space for all the 2-bedroom kind of houses. So when guests come to a place, very good night, we all chat together, 11 o'clock, we just walk down and go sleep in the AC comfortable room and come up. Morning for tea, you please come up from home. The smaller differentiations like that, you know, which is what we are chasing, sir. I'm only saying, luckily the market is not done that bad, but we are trying to get to that because I see market getting bad. I see supplies, you know, shooting, beyond the demand which would exist, and then who's going to run faster? Who's going to sell more? So price should not be the game you play. As I be the lowest. I mean, you can. That who can immediately think of that? Actually, you know, I'll be a cost for it. A contractor who's now adopting a newer technology, where instead of 1,500 square foot per square foot of construction, he can bring it down to 1,300 and he can finish it faster because it's competency. So only that guy will pay the cost game, actually, per se. So it's not the best game to play. No doubt you will not optimize the cost for the customer, because if you don't get slowly incompetent on the pricing, you don't stand a chance in the market. But beyond that, will there be differentiation? What differentiation have? No, I'm saying we will have differentiations. And as you see in the Casa Grande more products, you will see that every product will have something very different in the market. Very different in the market. So that is what we are chasing as a pure passion, and that's what we believe will also hold us in the long run in the game. Innovation is suddenly a very, brushed away word. They don't want to use that word in the businesses anymore, actually. So only branding, some businesses get commoditized. Branding does no doubt helps. But even in that, so let's say a lot of steel players had a very 3 years back, but they started saying, you please give us the size, we'll cut that steel and sell it to you. A steel where everybody thought there's no value addition possible, so suddenly started having a different value addition. So a lot of people started adopting, a lot of people still buy and cut it at the side and use it. But the game can be played very differently the way you think, Obviously, mind has to be the deciding factor saying, no, we are this, what can you do? There's nothing doing, we'll have to succeed, you tell me how.
Sir, this is going to be a basic beginner level question.
Basic?
Beginner level question.
There's no beginner level in business, we are also beginning only. Go on.
So when did you quit your full-time job to completely involve into your business, and what kind of challenges that you had at that time?
Obviously nobody gives us money. See, today at least there is an environment where you talk about venture capital, where you talk about venture capital, you can put the salaries against your name saying, I was earning 50,000, I'll take maybe 30,000 in my salary, etc. Okay. Those days, we didn't have so much of liberties. Obviously, we had to take notes of like 1/15 of what I was drawing. And literally, what my father was giving me a pocket money when I was doing my MBA. So that is what you could afford. So the point is whether you are willing to take that plunge and work on that is, because money is the biggest challenge, right? Because of middle income families like us, where the thing, the dad is retiring, the son has to take over and start earning. Then suddenly there's a problem. What are you doing all these things? What will happen to this, that, etc. All these questions will come in. So whether you can afford to do that, so you will have to risk that actually. And not, I can't in a position to risk, etc., then that is where the entrepreneurship spirit comes into play. You have to handle the first financial challenge because you don't have stability, you don't have standard income whatsoever, etc. So that is the first challenge which comes in. Second challenge is obviously, obviously the primary business challenge is it's going to succeed, not succeed. Third is, what he mentioned about in terms of your family and everybody, somewhere showing resistance because, entrepreneurship doesn't come from necessarily entrepreneurial families actually. For those guys it's easier. Business, somebody started business, the father business, he understands it. He guides the child better. He doesn't scare him saying all the risks, etc. He says, right, I'll give you so much money, go ahead and try it, etc. Right? It doesn't come from a typically someone serves background actually. If somebody's number of years say, no, don't do this and all, everything free, but that uncle, he started, that's all, whole family, life all finished. That's all, you see him the way he's walking around drinking, or someone, that's going to happen. But it is your commitment and your risk-taking ability which will ultimately make the difference.
Can you explain about the stock options in your company?
Explain in the sense, you know what's a stock option or you don't know what's a stock option?
No, just want to know about what the product of your stock option will be.
Hey, stock option is nothing about this. Is, I don't know somebody, I'm sure a lot of people understand, and just for your understanding, I'll tell you, is ultimately I'm willing to give my shares in the company. Why am I giving a share in the company? I think he's a very integral part of the company. He's leading my next 5 years growth path. And I'm always, otherwise if I'm on simple pure recruitment, I'm always worried saying, will he go, will he not go, etc. I want a little more stickiness to him. Not that I have full stickiness even with their stock options actually, but a lot more stickiness with him in terms of thing. I want the stability saying I want this guy in 5 years first point number one. And actually I want this guy, he's putting his heart and soul. I also want to be good-hearted, right? Somebody, someday, it doesn't say, it comes from the saying, this guy is putting a lot and more. If he makes a little more disproportionate wealth than what he's done, no problem. For the commitment which is brought into the table, I'm willing to share something good. Assuming the business also grows, no, it's not like you are given anything. The paper today is only paper at the end of the day, actually. Ultimately, the business goes there, he might have made money. The worry is, have I overpaid, etc. See, somewhere you have to take business decisions, right? So that's what again makes an entrepreneur a good entrepreneur. I would say ability to take decisions at the moment. You want to go on thinking 100 things and ultimately take the one decision, or you don't stand a chance. I think not for you, not for me, for anybody for that matter. You have to take decisions and move fast. Because then you have power. The time gives the ability to correct yourself. You want to think, take one decision after 2 months. Think another take decision. You're going to slow down the business. You will have to take decisions faster and you want to run faster. In that 4 things will go wrong. 4 things will go wrong. 4 things will go right, anyways you will be successful. So having said that, the stock options are about tying a good talent to the enterprise for the good value addition which is bringing, and it gives you stability of this guy being there in the enterprise. And most important thing is you don't have to burn so much more cash. This guy, actually if you want to give him adequate, salaries, bigger salaries and bigger variable components and etc., obviously it might deplete of the cash which is available for you to grow the business. So, you don't have a choice. So somebody where a little more cash time, say, because you take the share certificates, don't ask me for variables and all. Keep quiet, ultimately you will make a lot of money when the company grows. And if they think, they see goodness in you, if they see straightness in you, they will believe it. Yeah.
This is a bit of a complicated question for me. I've been
You
thinking
won't
about,
dominate from me. You look more intelligent.
I've been thinking about mentors on whether I should go and look for them or search for them. And every time I start on the process, I kind of freeze because anybody that I meet who can be a potential mentor, I think why would they spend time, to give me advice? So.
You asked, they told you that why should I give you time?
No, as a good point. But how do I go about the process? Let me paraphrase. What is your thought on having mentors? Are they important? Or did you personally go about searching and developing a mentoring relationship?
I still do. And I believe it's very important, point number one. Why is actually they reduce your learning curve a little faster. Okay, they shrink your learning curve. That's what they can do primarily. They don't want to come and execute the business with you, but they shrink the learning curve. So it gets very important to find a mentor and find a relevant mentor. Okay, let us say you might have Christian asked you. The point is, what is the problem? You want to go and ask him, That's the most important thing in the business actually, A dynamic personality is most important actually. You will have to think, this guy is around, go ahead and ask him. He say, no boss, I can't do. I say, he'll do. So, most important thing is actually, people draw a lot of pleasure and a lot of self gratification when they are of some use to anybody. You go and say today, you go and you say you're thinking, right? You feel good when you help somebody. You don't know how good actually people feel when somebody is asked them for help and they have done it actually. You have done him a big favor by asking him help because he is waiting to help somebody actually in life. I mean, life, it's my own thoughts in terms of how life spans out. But that's exactly what it is. And the point is, why should you be thinking? What stops you from asking? Was he going to reject you? No, I'm saying, I'm coming to that. See, I moved away. I think I've answered one part of it where he said, it's mentoring needed. I've answered it. It is very much needed. And what does it do? I have answered it. Okay. Now I'm saying, you think, I don't know, I kind of suddenly freeze when you need to ultimately stretch. Why do you freeze? Because of rejection?
No, not really. I mean, I don't mind asking somebody and then saying, okay, I don't have time for it. That's perfectly fine. Who is the right mentor? Probably that's where I freeze.
See, the mentor comes from, I'll tell you what. A core spirit of an entrepreneur-driven enterprise possibly can bring you a good mentor. Somebody from a very good domain understanding could become a very good mentor. Somebody possibly, from a constraint who can, who can possibly unlock you from certain bit of entanglement which you might get into, like government issues, etc., would be relevant mentor. And you don't have to have one mentor for your business. Actually, you can have 4 mentors. Who's the mentor? Who's guiding you? Who's willing to give you that 1 hour in a week? Who will listen to you and say, boss, this seems okay, this doesn't seem okay. Maybe you want to evaluate it again. It doesn't mean you do whatever the mentor says. Doesn't mean that. I'm just saying, it gives you a thought, food for thought kind of thing, and where you ultimately make your assessment to say, yes, I think here's the point, I think we might have to go cautiously. I say, no boss, I think this around okay, this point, I think what he's saying is rubbish, let's let go.
I have a follow-up question on that. Sorry. If you are having more than one mentor, won't they feel conflicted? Because ideally, I'm from Great Lakes and I wanted to talk to 2 different faculties, both are entrepreneurship faculties, and I asked one to be my mentor already. And the other faculty is also someone whom I'm interested in asking about it. But won't they necessarily feel that I disrespect one of these 2 because at one point they may give different ideas and I may choose something which one faculty favors.
If you want to choose one idea and the other guy is going to feel insecure, you better not take the cake. See, these guys will have to come from, why does he become a mentor? Because he has a maturity in his own business that actually you will try to ask him an idea which possibly you will have. If he's going to feel very hurt that you wouldn't take that idea, etc., you might say not good because he's not going to be a good mentor any which way. So, point. And the second point is whether you can ask another mentor, somebody who's mature. What is it that you're asking? You're asking, saying, I have a business which I'm trying to roll. I'm trying to gain some thoughts and insights into that because of a sheer experience or particular competency. Would you give me keep helping me navigate towards my ultimate goal? That is all you want this guy to do. Okay, so if that is the case, why would he have a problem with the other guys sitting along with him, or even 4 guys are sitting along with him? Why did he have? And a good businessman ultimately won't be egoistic, as I said, or good businessman or good mentor. I mean, cannot be egoistic. He's a good ego. I mean, if he's an egoist, I don't think he'll be a good mentor also. Because he's too, he's needing his own recognitions actually. How would he ultimately navigate?
Basically, these are faculties, and hence my question on they have some kind of status quo which has to be respected. As a professor, as an academician, they would necessarily have it. That's my feel. I'm not too sure if they would take it in a right way. Let me anyway try it out.
See, I'll tell you what. Why would you want to assume on these things? When it can be resolved with one question. Saying, this is what I want to do, can you be here? What is that? See, my only thing is, what stops anybody from asking somebody, you don't have any bad ill intentions towards that person.
Of course not.
Simple. Why are you stalling yourself from that? It is very important. I'll possibly think, when these questions are being asked again and again, what possibly, one topic I just want to touch upon, and I might be thinking, so becoming relevant. Actually, as a good businessman or a good entrepreneur, actually, the last word you should ever have in your space would be ego. Okay? Because failure of, worry of rejection, worry of somebody saying no, worry of somebody, thinking, etc. Those are all big problems actually people have. Let go of all those things actually. You should not afford, first of all, you cannot afford to have ego. Let me be very clear. First point, okay? The second point is actually, having said that, actually, Why would you want to assume so many things? I see a lot of assumptions in your thought. You thought, even in what he kind of mentioned, that I'm buried, it'll happen, etc. All of us can break the word assume, as of you and me. Don't do that. So go ahead and ask this person, and what do you have to lose here? In fact, if he doesn't want to do it, it's lost the way, you need to get on and move on with it actually. You have no interest. All you have to think is can impart with some knowledge. And knowledge only multiplies as you impart. So I don't think, good mature entrepreneurs don't think like that, don't see it that way. I don't think that should have a value. Yeah, she had a question. She didn't look at yeah, go on.
So my question was with regard to, I think I'm at a stage right now where I'm unable to decide whether I should take up a fewer projects with
What do you do?
higher profit margins. I'm in the home automation space.
Home automation, nice.
So I don't know whether to take up projects where the margins are a bit more and the work is more challenging, or because the market is so new, should I go take up 10 projects with lesser margins?
Alright. It's a relevant dilemma. See, what I would think, there's no right or wrong here. See, because that's why two kind of businesses always exist. One is a volume business, the other one is a margin business, or the more a niche business, as we say it, in a different sense. So whether you want to say you want to customize a little more, you want to understand the consumer's needs and create very innovative products fitting and only do so many business. As against saying a roll out mass, that's the way you have an option of doing that. Actually, see, ultimately you
Of course, price also varies. Because obviously if I'm spending more time, I'm able to give them a much better quality product, and obviously it's more expensive. Or should I focus on the mass market?
Sure. See, my answer to that would be that both exist in the market.
Right.
Both such offerings across any spectrum exist. Obviously, somebody is selling a shirt which is 300 rupees and he's selling 1000 shirts. Somebody is selling 4000 rupees designer shirt who's selling only 20 shirts a day. This guy is making money, this guy is making money, both are happy, both are actually at the What is it that you want to pursue? What you believe you possibly would enjoy doing. See, that's where, again, I am moving away from the typical business languages to possibly, life's languages. It's like, what is it that you enjoy doing? Do you feel more contented at the end of the day where you gave a very innovative, different solution to this guy, where it really solved his problem and you feel good at the end of the day? Or you feel good about the fact that you sold some 200 numbers as against selling the 25 numbers or 15 numbers for that month, and you suddenly, reached out to so many audience and you made a small difference to a lot of people. And there's nothing right wrong about both of these things. What do you feel good about? It's a question. But the minute you believe you're not doing a quality service which you want to do, you might want to check. Because volume at the cost of service will ultimately take your business to zero. Okay, so that is what you might have to think through on this. So, in a broad sense, I think have I answered it? In the sense, what you choose is what you enjoy. In the sense, what do you feel good about? Okay, if I were to ask you back, what do you enjoy? When you feel good, when you take a select audience, understand all his needs and find a fitment perfectly, or you sold 20 such units in that month. Have you done? Maybe try both. The point is actually the good part of being very early in the business is you try both. 1 month you lose or 2 months you lose. Let us say this cycle will take 3 months. Let us say I'll take 8 orders, I'll finish this. As I can take 80 orders and execute mass. What is it making financial sense? What is exciting you? Because what you might not want to think later is, I did fantastic 20 units, etc. I have only 2 lakhs in my pocket. Whereas when I chase some 100 units, I might have had 20 lakhs or 15 lakhs in my pocket. It's also a call, right? Money also has a motivation actually.
No, exactly. What I was coming to say was, it would be easy for me to say that, what I want to do is do extremely good quality work and just focus on a few homes and do them really well.
Sure.
But the problem is, one, financials of course, but also thinking about it dispassionately. Something you mentioned earlier was scalability. And exactly how many HNIs can I target as a startup?
Sure.
And I
So what chokes you in a startup? Actually, see what it calls for is actually, see you are trying to create an institution, right? If you're trying to create an institution or an organization, you would have to create multiple U's. When I say you, I'm saying in quotes you. So you will have to create multiple people like you who are leaders who can reach out to more people. So there is no stopping. So even in a niche market, you can reasonably build volumes, right? Doesn't mean niche market means you operate like a cottage industry or extremely small scale. You can still operate at a little larger scales for that. So you'll have to create more multiple use and do that. So you have an option of balancing out both. You have to have an option of balancing out both. But all I'm saying is I would always believe what is it that you want to try is actually, in the early stages you have an option of doing both. You're saying you have one path and you have another path. chase one path, chase another path for 2 months each and check for yourself as to what seems to be working and what you feel good about and what you're making money. So all these things together as a factor, what you will very clearly by the time you would have had an instinct to say this is the path, boss. I don't want that. Not helping me, I'm not happy with that.
Okay, so your point is just try and then go.
Do you have an option of trying both?
Yes.
So exactly, you do that. So then you will know when you're trying ultimately what makes you feel better, you feel good about, or I think because who knows, maybe you might be thinking passionately, I will do some structured 8 units and it's good enough. But what if you do 80 units and you're suddenly making 20 lakhs more or 10 lakhs more? Suddenly money will also become a driver actually. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? What is business at the end of the day is about profits. We don't have to feel shy about the fact that we're making money. We're making honest money. We're making money for the good service we rendered, a good product we rendered, a good customer solution we offered. So you don't have to, if you feel you're making a lot of money and I'm very happy with that, a lot of people are very, or whole, that was the South Indian languages, very tuned to say, money you're making means it's like some kind of a, sin kind of a, that bit of a feeling is always there. Business is about money. We have come here to make money. We have come here to make profit. If you don't make profits, no need. We can all medicine go. There are a lot of NGOs extra, we can go and help them. Nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, if you come here to make money, we'll make money.
I have one question. Like for the last question you were mentioning about creating more use. Like you told us to create more you, right?
More you, yes.
So like I'm running a business for the past 4 years. But I find it very difficult. I try to share profits, equal profits, and I try different ways to do that. But I'm still not succeeded in that. So what would be your suggestion, or what would be the best possible way to do it?
See, ultimately somebody you are asking them to come on board and say, boss, come with me, we can take this business bigger. You will have to inspire and instill confidence in them. You will have to show the trustworthiness in terms of ability to deliver wherever you are already delivering, whatever you are trying to deliver. And the sheer personality you come with. Somewhere thing. So if these things is what possibly they might not be feeling at this moment. So you want to check yourself, say that whether you are delivering. So you come, etc. But you are doing some rubbish. How is somebody going to be coming? I mean, I'm not saying to rubbish. What I'm saying is can. Possibly because people are getting a little worried. Second is whether you are able to inspire people and able to instill the trust in people. The way ultimately you communicate. Ultimately every day, at the end of the day, every action we do reflects something. Actually, we all could be thinking differently, but everybody is watching and measuring on every action of yours actually. Small, let us say, I'm just saying, general things, which you all miss and, you might have said very harmless life for some reasons, etc. That other guy is measuring things. Why is he saying this then? Can I trust him? That would have been something like, yesterday bad attitude, you would have told him, Amaravati guys should have hidden something. I'm just saying as trivial as that. But everybody starts extrapolating their own opinions about that. So at the end of the day, you as a brand will have to continuously pitch in, you'll have to evolve your own brand, and you'll have to continuously sell yourself in the market ultimately to inspire people and trust, for them to come on board. Check whether possibly there's a gap there. Otherwise, if that's not the case, you keep pursuing. It's like the last 10 feet maybe.
My question is about marketing. In your sales and learning, how much you invest in marketing?
See, marketing as a spend of sales? Is that what is asking?
I mean, it's always there's a proportional relationship when we do that statistics.
See, there is a proportional relationship for sure, but it's varying to different industries, right? Let us say FMCG could spend as high as 25-30% of the money in marketing. Let us say, what do you think we are spending for a Pepsi? Let's say 8 rupees we pay for 8 ml bottle. We are paying for Ranbir Kapoor. We are paying for your TV channel correction. We are paying for all the infrastructure vendors, the satellite which is working there, everything. To that extent, actually, the spends could be very different. And let's take a very high value product like real estate. Actually, honestly, when you're buying a home from us, I know you're not spending more than 1% to have got the communication across to you. So it is varying to different industries. Which industry do I from?
I'm just asking, even your industry, which is predominant channel to communicate, and it's very useful.
Where do we spend? See, we spend a lot to print mediums actually, because that's where people look out for homes today. Because people believe that even today onlines are existing. I've started a real estate online portal, etc. But I know for a primary mindset is reliable information is available in Hindu. Reliable information is available in print medium. You go check online, you call that fellow, he'll say no, it is sold at etc. That's also true. So not very reliable online services are there. So different industries have different places where we look out, right? Like if you want to look out for restaurant today, you might say let's look at it in Zomato today. We become very powerful medium today, right? You know, it's very interesting. You go anywhere, you will log into that location and say search for a Chinese. It throws 4 options for you. In Zomato, again that's all. But earlier maybe restaurants you would chase and maybe just there, saying is there any good Chinese restaurant near Adyar? All of us search different places. So depending on where ultimately people are looking out for is where you need to go and plonk yourself when you are running your business. Yeah, you say.
At this point of time, will you diversify into some other domain like not your real estate? So will you diversify?
See, diversification is multi-pronged. Okay, let us say, will you evolve new lines of business? Yes, I will. Will you evolve new geographies? Yes, I will. I believe that diversification is very important after you gain a critical size in a particular zone. But you will have to become a relevant player for that. See, Chennai, I believe today we are relevant place. If not big place, relevant place. We are good place. So obviously, today we look at Bangalore, we look at, we are already in Coimbatore, we already look at Bangalore very seriously, etc. In fact, even then, I'm just giving you an example that we are looking at local entrepreneurs as Bangalore. I'm imparting stakes to the local entrepreneur who's going to be running by Bangalore operations. Though Casa Grande is established, everybody will come and tell me, no, go put a professional, it's good enough. No, I don't believe that. I believe sharing will because that guy will help me trigger the business a little more higher. So that's one. That was actually in the whole business also we want to do retirement homes now. No, because that's going to be bigger as a chunk. Because today's people's longevity in terms of lifespans have gone much higher. People are going to live longer. We're going to have huge aging population, and those people are not today defended by their children anymore. And we all know that today things have changed. They want to have their own space. The children run away, and that's what it is. So they want comfortable, good home. They have money. It's not about them not having money, but they have the comforts of some housekeeping happening at the call. Medical facilities available on the call. Good medical support, somebody to think, and a good community for them to talk to. So we want to do retirement homes today. We might do commercial. Office spaces also, which we haven't ventured into in a big way. We have small office structures done. So because REIT funds are coming, etc., we keep looking at newer avenues to think, which will give me a diversified portfolio. See, at any point in time, some businesses can slow down by nature. Okay, by nature, etc. So if you have other avenues, that will kind of support you. Either it could be a newer geography, or it could be a newer vertical. So I believe in diversification, it's relevant, but you cannot keep diversifying when you're already starting business or consolidating business. That's not the stage for you to diversify logically when you possibly have a reasonably chunk of business built in. From there you think, okay, fine, can you try that also? Can you try this? Because that's what an entrepreneur does, right? He keeps chasing ideas, he finds something innovative and he wants to do that.
He's parallelly executing the ideas which doesn't have links to each other. Say for example, if you have 3 ideas and either the idea 1 does not link to idea 2 or idea 3, can we do it? Parallelly. If it is yes, on what model we should be doing it? Either it is as a large startup, we are building the 3 products, or it will be like a 3 startups parallelly, or if it is no, why not?
Have you evaluated between the 3 and you chosen which one to pursue?
Actually, I am asking about pursuing 3 parallelly.
I have understood that very clearly. Have you evaluated, have you cross-evaluated, have you compared each of these and found any one scaling a little higher?
Yes.
There's one which is scaling higher. So why would you not pursue that, or why would you pursue all the 3?
I'm thinking that this idea might be taken by someone, or I'm thinking that I should.
Oh yeah, that's all. With the 3 areas, the world will end.
Sorry.
So with the 3, I mean, when I say something, I never come from a point of saying something smarter or something humorous. What I'm trying to say is, no, I'm genuinely asking. With the 3 ideas, will the ideas end in the world? So something will keep coming, right? Your mind is thinking. You want to do something.
I'm saying that that's 3 ideas. I am facing the problem every day, which should be done by some technology. So I'm thinking that why I should be the person who should do it.
See, we all understand the word focus, right? At the end of the day, we need to have a particular focus. It is very difficult to have a diluted focus across 3 ideas and pursue everything with the same passion which you want to pursue. It's not going to happen. I don't think, in my own understanding, and let me rephrase it, in my own understanding, it is never a good idea to run parallel ideas and businesses. It will never take you anywhere. Amongst the 3, if you compare it, which one is the best, and why you did not pursue that and then pursue the other one later, at later point. If you think somebody has taken the idea and gone, let them take an idea and gone. Just because you started this one idea, you think so, nobody else has started the idea, 7 more people in the world will be thinking of the same idea at this moment actually. So it is not the case. Actually, it's about who takes it and runs it faster and executes it. And hence you don't have a choice of running 3 ideas. I believe it's very difficult. I have point of view, hence I'm saying it strongly. I don't think you should pursue 3 ideas. You take one, you pursue that. If the other 2 ideas already become big businesses, then we can only search for the 4th idea. Ideas will come by. Every day lifestyle is changing. Every day today what looked very important for him is not looking. Today actually, Pepsi's consumptions will go down, right? Somebody will say, we'll have to slowly move to health things, and all of us are moving that way. So some things will keep coming up actually. So even a Pepsi has a substitute today. Pepsi has another course. It's not like, today, if people don't drink cola anymore, the cola will collapse. Cola will say, I will start packing Tata coconut. That's what you want to know, health, I'll give you Tata coconut, don't drink. He will advertise. So that's how life will move.
We have time for one more question, so. Yeah, go ahead.
2 more minutes.
I have no, actually it's not.
You spoke about the need for being dispassionate about what you do to an extent, objectively evaluate all that. So, in your experience, when do you?
I mentioned this when I said when to work out of the business.
Right. So, do you personally have you had any checkpoints in the business when you look at it and say, okay, this is where it's going, this is where it's heading, and so what metrics and parameters you look at, and based on which you will make your choices, and since you mentioned you do objectively.
Yes.
You would like to know if you have such a
Very simple metrics which you all know the businesses to be by. Your turnover, whether your sale value is growing, whether your EBITDA is able to hold on, okay, or at least your operating margins holds on, okay, and whether you are able to see consistent growth in the turnover actually which you want to pursue, and whether you have a relevant market share in this market you are operating, or whether you can get to that someday based on your business plan. These are all the primary metrics which all of us look at. I mean, though it becomes very boring, is this what it is? It is what it is. There's nothing new to that. Now, if you don't see your business growing, you have a problem. If you're not making margins, you have a problem. You have a problem. If you're not holding a share in the market, I mean, share, maybe some businesses get very difficult because sometimes data is not available actually. So if that again, that's okay. That part of it can still be addressed. Whether you are able to grow at the speed at which you wanted to grow, and whether your resources and the business potential is offering that growth, is what are the primary metrics for you to measure. Because if any of these things are not happening, it's for you to check those at those points as to whether I'm going to be in or should I be out dispassionately. But yes, it's very difficult to be very dispassionate about business which you started. Very difficult. I don't know how to do it. In fact, somebody knows it, it's good, but it's very difficult. Actually, you get very emotionally tied on to your business. The ego gets into this field of the thing you don't want to. It's difficult. So obviously, you learn over time to ultimately let go. But the only thing which I want to tell, and it's my own learning, is actually because you have failed in your business doesn't make you fail. In fact, it makes you so much more better off actually because you learned something. You learned how not to do one business. So that learning will go a long way in terms of that. And nobody disrespects because you ultimately plunged it. Actually, it's our own perception. We think, people respect you for that actually. The fact that you had the courage, you had the guts, ultimately take the call one day to say, I'll go ahead and try boss. When you guys go ahead and earn your 25,000 rupees paycheck and be happy with that, I'll go ahead and plunge and try this.
So thank you all so much. Thank you, Arun, for the genuine pleasure having you here.
Thanks.
So thank you so much. Can you give me a big round?